What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rewind Productions. I'm here to talk about my top 10 go-to games, or in other games that I played quite a lot. There were games whenever I was bored, I would go right into and just play for fun. Some of these games I still play, and some of these games at the time, they were great go-to games. In other words, these games have pretty good replayability, so please kick back and enjoy. The Simpsons Hit and Run. Back in the PS2 days, sandbox games or open world games were a pretty big thing, and of course Grand Theft Auto was the one who sparked the big sandbox craze. You had games like Jack and Dexter and True Crimes, and then you have The Simpsons Hit and Run, who were trying to follow along in the sandbox trade. The Simpsons Hit and Run was probably the first games that I played were at that scope of sandbox. It was just a game that was fun to mess around with, and the story was fun, and it was also cool to collect some of the stuff and explore some of the characters' houses. It was just a fun game to just go in and mess around. Infamous, the original Infamous for the PlayStation 3. This is another great sandbox game. What really makes Infamous so awesome is not only its 12 to 15 hour story, but it's just a cool game where you could just go back into and just blow shit up. Not only that, there's a lot of collectibles and a lot of things to explore, a lot of side missions right after you finish this campaign. But like I said, it's just a fun game to just get into and blow shit up for no apparent reason, just killing people. Not really killing people, but killing the bad guys, blowing up cars or whatever. And it's just a really fun game. It would have been higher on my list because I don't play it as much. It's not my direct go-to game, but whenever I'm in the mood to play it, it's a lot of fun. Def Jam Fight for New York. I remember when I had when I played my PS2 much more frequently, I would go to this game a lot. And I guess the reason for it is at the time I was really into hip hop, and I thought it was really cool that you could play as these hip hop characters, such as Snoop Dogg. And it's fucking Snoop Dogg. When do you get the chance to play as Snoop Dogg? And not only that, the music was cool. I really enjoyed the combat. And I also enjoy the customizations you have in its story campaign. It was a fun game. It's one of my favorite fighting games. I don't go to it as much, but back in the day, I will play it really frequently. Scarface for the PlayStation 2. I never beat the campaign, but it was a game like a sandbox game, much like Grand Theft Auto or Simpsons Hit and Run, where I would just go in there and just mess around. Like I said, I never played the campaign. I only went in there to just fuck around. And what I like about it is that once you get caught by the cops, the titles go up and it says "You're fucked." I think it says something like that. And there's no escaping the cops. You have to fight them, and it doesn't stop until you finally die. And that's one of my favorite things about it. And I also like the music to it and the environment as well. And I thought it was just really cool to be able to play as freaking Tony Montana. But yeah, it's a game that I played frequently, but not really for the story, mainly to just fuck around. The True Crime series. I played both the True Crimes in the PS2, both True Crime Streets of LA and New York. Streets of LA, I never played the story. I only went in there to play as Snoop Dogg, the little extra content where you could play as Snoop Dogg for a whole hour. A lot of times I would just play as him to just fuck around. There was a couple of times where I would try to be a good cop, and I thought that was something unique about it because you could actually try to be a good cop and do what a cop does, or you could just fuck around and blow shit up. But I think I had most memories with New York because I actually played through the campaign, and then once I finish it, I will go back to it whenever I was bored and do some side missions, arrest some people, or just fuck around. Sound Shapes for the PS3 and the PS Vita. Right now I'm playing it mostly on my Vita. It's just a great game to just get into whenever you're bored. It has a short campaign, but the campaigns are worth replaying, and it also has a lot of challenges too. Some really difficult challenges, like once you finish the campaign, and some other challenges to do, like musical notes. And it also has a play, create, share feature where you could create your own level, share them to the community. or play other people's levels in the community. I don't play it as much, but it's a game that is currently on my radar, on my go-to games whenever I'm bored. Not a lot of the levels there are amazing, but whenever I encounter some good ones, I just get into it and I just play level after level after level. It's a game where I could just get into it in almost any mood. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. This is a game, this is probably one of the games I played the most on the PlayStation 2, and probably one of the games I played the most, period. It's I One of the things it's my favorite fighting game of all time. And I don't play much fighting games, but it's just a really fun game, and I really feel it stands the test of time because of its fluent controls and its fun gameplay. And I just like going back to it for playing some of the stages because some of the stages have amazing soundtracks. And not only that, it's just fun to do the special attacks and just blow up the entire world. And it's just a fun game. I mostly go back to it to just play against the computer and duel. And there was a certain point where I would be battling against my friends a lot. And it's a game that I could still go to now and just play just for fun because it's just a fun game and it's exciting, and it's just fun to look at when you're blowing shit up. Call of Duty Black Ops, the original Black Ops. This game I played, this is probably one of the games I played a lot on my PlayStation 3. And the thing is, I didn't enjoy most of it, but it is a game that it was my strong go-to. It was just a game whenever I was bored, I would just go right into it. And a lot of the reasons because it's easy to get into. It's easy to get into a multiplayer match. It's quick and easy. You don't have to be waiting for a long time to get into a match, unlike other multiplayer games. It doesn't mean I really enjoyed it. It was just a game that was quick and easy to find the match and get some gameplay going. And it wasn't just the multiplayer, it was also the zombies. I really enjoyed going into the zombies and playing with some friends or strangers. And the single player campaign, while it didn't have much replay value, it was a great campaign. But yeah, mostly I went back to it to play the zombies or the multiplayer. Mostly the multiplayer, and a lot of it's because it's just quick and easy to find the game, and it was a strong go-to for me at the time. But I don't play much Call of Duty anymore, or at all. But that was the one Call of Duty I played a lot. Grand Theft Auto 5. I just had to mention a Grand Theft Auto game sooner or later. I could just tell it's going to be a game that I'm going to be playing for quite a while, whether I'm playing the single player or the multiplayer. The single player itself holds a lot of replay value by owning some properties or just fucking around and blowing shit up. But the multiplayer holds a whole shit ton of replay value. Of course, generic things like team deathmatch and races and whatnot, but it also has other small things like golfing and tennis to play with your friends. And of course, you could just play in the open world and just mess around by yourself or with your friends. It's a great game, and it's going to be a game that I'm definitely going to be looking into in the future to just play whenever I'm bored. I'm currently doing it. It's definitely a game that's in my radar. The only 2 games or 3 games that are in my radar, the third one I will mention later, but right now the only games that are in my radar for go-to games is this and Sound Shapes. And I could just tell that Grand Theft Auto is going to be a game that's going to keep me busy for a long time. The Little Big Planet games. The notable Little Big Planet games that have kept me busy or have been great go-to games whenever I've been bored is the original Little Big Planet, Little Big Planet 2, and Little Big Planet on Vita. And Little Big Planet Karting and PSP I haven't played as much, but I have played them. But the ones that I mentioned are the ones that are my better go-tos. I remember Little Big Planet 1 I went into a lot. Back in 2010, most notably, was a time where I would play a lot. I created levels, I shared them, I played a lot of other people's levels. I tried to collect things to the single player. I played a lot of Little Big Planet 1. And then when Little Big Planet 2 came along, that sort of took over because that was the next big thing, and that was the game people were playing, and all the great levels were in there. And for the most part, I was into Little Big Planet 2, but I kind of went in and out with it because I guess I got fatigued with Little Big Planet, but it's still a game that I can still play now just for fun and whenever I'm bored. And I just recently got Little Big Planet on the Vita, and to me that's the best Little Big Planet so far. Like some of the levels I've seen on the Vita have blown me away, and much more than other levels that I've seen on Little Big Planet 1 or 2. But yeah, the whole franchise is just a great game to just get into whenever you're bored because it has that create, play, share feature. The single player itself is not so long, but it has replay value to get some collectibles and such. And of course, you have the whole community where you can create your own levels from the shit you collected. You can create your own shit from scratch, and you can play other people's levels, and there's a ton of levels to explore. Of course, there's the team picks, or they used to be called picks, where you play the best levels people have created, and then you have the cool levels, or now they call it the lucky dip, where you play levels that are just popular and trending. It's a great game to just play whenever you're bored. It's pretty underrated because it is childish, but I feel like it appeals to everybody. It appeals to the completionists. It appeals to the kids. It appeals to those like me who just want to play it whenever we're bored. And like I said, it's a great game. It's just a great go-to game. And like I said, I played a lot of Little Big Planet 1. I sort of dozed off away from it when Little Big Planet 2 came out. I was in and off with Little Big Planet 2, but it's a game whenever I'm bored I could get into. And then on Vita, the Vita is a lot less, fleshed out because it has a smaller community. But the levels I've seen there are amazing, and it has the same qualities as the other Little Big Planets. And I definitely recommend it to you. Like whenever I think about a game with a great community, great co-op game, mini games, and great replay value, I always think of Little Big Planet because to me that's a game that I could be playing for a very, very long time, because a lot of people create different and unique things, and that's really cool. It makes it much more fresh whenever you get back into it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Those are my great go-to games. What are your great go-to games? Please comment down below and like the video. Thanks for watching once again. Have a nice day.